Welcome in 5-3 crowd. How we doing? Welcome to the Prowler Hour. It's a nice special Victory Monday we're having here at Strings in Jags Beach. How we doing, fellas?
Always good to have Victory Monday. Ready
Hell
to go.
yeah.
I've missed it.
Schmitty?
Good evening, winners.
So let's start off with that
Victory toast.
Victory Monday, baby.
Victory,
Let's
cheers.
Here's to the Raiders.
go. Raiders.
Vegas, still our bitch.
A win is a win.
Just win, baby.
Just win.
Just win, baby.
Respect Al Davis. Respect. Lost his wife. God bless.
Yeah, that was the most just win game you could probably ever have, though.
Yep. Yeah.
I predicted it was going to be a close game. I thought it would, I thought Geno Smith would get yards on us, honestly. I did. Just because if you give him enough time, he's good enough to
He
beat
can
you.
distribute the ball. Yeah, there's no doubt.
And a lot of it was like checkdowns and stuff. We'll get into it a little bit, but I want to hear kind of your sides. Like, what was your initial takeaways from the game? How you guys feel about it?
I was pretty sure we were on our way to our first ever tie, becoming that statistical anomaly.
I was there with you.
But I thought in the first quarter the Raiders did a great job of running the football at us, and then we made an adjustment, and they didn't run the ball at all after that.
Yeah.
And we told them they were going to have to throw the ball to beat us. They found some things against us. We dealt with some injuries, but in the end, the Jaguars scored on 5 or 6 consecutive possessions.
Yep.
Trevor Lawrence did what he was supposed to do, and the O-line took the game over, and we ran the ball right at them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I loved it. What do you think, Schmidt? How did you feel?
I am just proud of the toughness that they showed, man. Because, like you said, injuries they're decimating us right mid-game. Right at the beginning of the game, we lose Jordan Lewis, one of our defensive leaders, and like you said, O-line did take over. One of my only concerns, I'll have to say, about playing against the Raiders was Max Crosby.
Yeah.
And he had 1 sack, right?
He had 1 sack.
It was an effort sack, too. It wasn't like he blew up Walker Little and made a play. Now, he did have his way with Walker a couple times, but it wasn't.
He had a tackle for a loss.
He did have a really good play down on the goal line.
Yeah. But he didn't wreck the game.
That's an all-pro player. He's supposed to make those plays.
Yeah.
So,
we were able to run on them.
I liked the fact that we ran at him.
Exactly.
And sometimes against those really good defensive linemen, that's how you neutralize them. You get them to slow down because they have to think about where the block's coming, what's happening to them, do I have the back, all those kind of things. Mm-hmm. And we handled it. We did a great job.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I was really impressed by Max Crosby. Even though he didn't do a lot in the past game, I was more impressed. I thought he wasn't that good of a run defense, defensive end. And he really showed up and made some moves. As a whole, though, the team, though, Trevor was sick. We'll talk about him in a little bit, too. But, down with injuries. Now, I think they should have handled the Raiders probably soundly. So this was a much closer game than we all wanted it to be.
Yeah.
However, they figured out a way to be gritty, not pretty.
Yeah.
And
I just think that's who we are.
I think that's who our identity.
That's the identity.
Yep.
And I think we're going to lean into that as we talk here a little bit further, too.
When you can run the ball, that's kind of one of those things. It doesn't need to be pretty if we're getting 4 or 5 yards of carry.
100%. So let's give out some game balls. All right, let's go this way down.
My first one's the O-line. It's all of them. I felt like they played with intensity. I felt like they played with a little bit of, almost chip on their shoulder because I think that they had played bad the last couple of weeks, had a week off, got to be around the fam jam, got to be around their friends and do that kind of stuff and be regular people for a couple of days.
Yep.
And I think that they came out and they put their will on some people. So game ball for me goes in O-line.
Yeah, that's a great one. Schmitty, what do you think?
I agree with that. Whole O-line's a good one, but for me, it's tough because there's a few I want to give out, but I'm going to stick with ETN.
Yeah, ETN's
I'm going to stick with ETN because he ran tough, man.
He ran so hard.
He's not a big guy, and he took some licks.
He gave out some licks.
He gave out, that's what I should say.
And
he stayed upright and fought for more yards. I feel like he got more yardage after contact than I've ever seen him get, which is amazing.
I think he had 47 after contact.
That's how I want to see him run the ball the rest of the season.
Yes.
He had such great intensity. I think, breaking tackles early on, like you're saying, is huge, but unfortunately, he didn't get in the end zone, which I think he got on the 1 yard line. We got to see
the touchdown thief here today.
And then he came
shout out Bayshaw too in here at Strings.
Got him on the surfboard.
He was the beneficiary of all the good work by Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
And then Trevor Lawrence, getting 2 rushing touchdowns. One of them on 4th down. And then the play call of the night for me was the draw that he got free on and pretty much untouched.
Yeah, 100%.
Lead blocking LaQuint Allen Jr. on the lead block, man.
I like how they use him in the fullback. I like how they formationed them I like the Wild Jag, as we
Yes,
decided to
the
call
Wild
that
Jag.
earlier. The Wild Jag was fun to watch.
Yeah, Liam brought out all the stops in
We
this
got our
one.
first real trick play out of this one this
Yeah?
week. Yeah.
Yeah.
The throwback.
Yeah, 100%. I think for the game ball for me, I was gonna go Brock Bowers. I was gonna
Yeah.
step out and say Brock Bowers because how much I loved him at Georgia, and I'm a Gator fan.
Oh.
I love Brock Bowers as a player in general, and I was very high on him coming out of the draft. He's playing with really nothing in Las Vegas with the Raiders, and he's balling. He absolutely dominated this game. So
Sure
if it
did.
wasn't him, I would go ETN just because of how he played. But yeah. Let's go 3 up or 3 down, though.
All
so
right.
who's 3 players that we have up, and then 3 players we have down. We'll do one at a time, though. So,
All right.
Coach, what's your first?
My first
stock
up, Cam Little.
There
Let's
you go.
Cam was perfect on the day, did not miss any kicks, and he set an NFL record. It's no big deal. No big deal for Cam Little. And for you Jax Beach
worth
people,
noting.
Angie Sub says all that you need to know about Cam Little.
Yeah,
Cam Little,
big leg.
big leg.
Yeah. Cam Little's a great one. This is not a player, but Liam Cohen.
He's getting your up.
I had Liam
Up
too.
on Liam Cohen
Yeah.
for sure. I love the play calling. I love that they did not hesitate even 1 second when they said, 60-yard field goal? Okay, come on, get out there.
No big deal.
And then he didn't kick 1 field goal. He kicked 3 field goals, and he made all of his extra points, which matters.
Yeah.
Because
When
how
you
much
win
did we
by
win
one.
by?
When you win by 1.
Yeah, this was a big Cam Little game. I agree. Too.
It was
Just
it was his biggest game as a Jaguar.
It was
I
a
think.
big comeback. I mean, for the organization, Liam Cohen putting a lot of faith back into
There you
him.
go. The commitment to him.
It was the turning point in the game too.
Absolutely.
We did not play our greatest football in the first half.
No.
I think it was a shit show on both sides for the Raiders and for us. It was awful football, and the Cam Little kick was a turning point that really got you saw the bench explode. You saw Liam Cohen, and that got all the juices going. We got some points on the board. So everybody was excited and kind of took that into the locker room. And, coming out of the locker room too, Montero Brown, Buster Brown came out and got that pick a lot people are forgetting about. So that was, the Raiders.
I'm not forgetting about that because he was my other.
Yeah.
He's going to be my next
Your second up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Buster Brown was your second one?
Absolutely.
Buster Brown's a good one. Second up.
Yeah, I think Newsom played pretty good too while we're on cornerbacks.
I
I
feel
think
like
he had a couple of catches on him, but I think overall, he played better than he had the last 2 games.
I
I feel
agree
like
with that.
I want to see the grades, and I didn't watch all 22 today. I feel like we had to make an adjustment after some injuries and played some coverages maybe in a way that we did to make sure everybody knew what was going on. They did come out and run the ball early on us, and I felt like that they made an adjustment and did not run at all after that.
Yeah.
And as the injuries took place to Jordan Lewis, I think it really hamstringed them in substitutions without Travis Hunter, that they might have had to play a little bit more man than they were wanting to play.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. So who's your second stock up?
So my second stock up is Trevor Lawrence. He got flambéed by Mark Schlereth for the first 20 minutes, for those of you that got to watch it on TV. And Mark has not been a real big Jaguar fan ever because he was a part of the team that
we beat him.
We sent him home.
Did he lose to the Jaguars?
Yeah, he was a part of that Jaguar team. And
I remember.
Woody Hayes and all that other crap. Anyways, and then you could kind of feel like he had to eat his words there as the game went along. Trevor got comfortable. Trevor had Parker Washington, which I'm starting to believe that Parker Washington is his security blanket. And as a coach,
I've been saying the last few games,
you got to have somebody that you know where they're going to be at all times. And while the chemistry is not fully there with BTJ and it's not fully there with Dewami Brown, Parker Washington, he knows exactly where Parker Washington is.
Yeah, that was. I think I skipped myself, but that was my first stock up was Parker Washington. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying with Trevor too. I think Parker helps him out a ton. I think he's your most dependable wide receiver right now. It's somebody you can run across the middle. He can make big plays down the field. He can catch it and make somebody miss. He's got the strongest hands, I think. A lot of these wide receivers, whether it's BTJ, who we'll talk about in a little bit, who actually had a bounce back game too. I liked what he did, only on 3 catches. But Parker, I think, that's the type of player I knew he was.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't mind as much losing Christian Kirk because I knew what Parker was behind him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that game from him. And then my second stock up, it's a mix between either Liam. I would honestly, I give it to let's go back to the O line a little bit. I think Van Lanning, I thought really, and use that jumbo tight end.
Yep.
You know,
He was the mover a couple times.
Yeah, I think
got to do a little motion.
Yeah, I think Ezra, left for like 6 snaps or something. He replaced him, so I thought he really stepped up too, and I saw him moving the pile a bunch. But yeah, I think overall the whole O line really had a good showing.
Well together.
Yeah. Who's your second stock up?
Man, I think we've touched on all my stock ups right now because it's for me. All right, so it was ETN, Buster Brown, Parker Washington, Liam Cohen.
Okay,
those guys stole the show for me. We can definitely talk about Newsome for sure. Definitely improved, like you said. So yeah. I'll go with him as my third because he did get got once or twice. But let's like Coach was saying, Brock Bowers, or you were saying, Brock Bowers is a different kind of player.
Yeah,
he caught a one-hander, a one arm on him.
Yeah.
Other than that, he had a pretty solid game, So when you're talking about somebody that's been with the team for 2 weeks, 3 weeks now, and he's coming in starting with all these injuries, all this going on, and he's playing solid. He had a good deflection against Jacoby Myers, who is a underrated receiver. He had a solid game.
Yeah, hopefully a future Jag.
Hopefully.
I was gonna say kind of like a bonus one too is Trayvon Walker, but then he punched somebody and he was out the whole second half. So I thought he was back to kind of a little bit normal Trayvon.
I felt like he was quite active.
He was playing a lot stronger, and that's also because he went to the brace instead of the cast.
Yeah,
the full cast.
And for those of you who've never played with a brace on your hand, it's horrible to get used to, and you got to not weaponize it, and you got to figure out how to use your hands and those kind of things. It's no fun. So that guy's been a freak athlete his whole life. So he's getting closer to being 100% and the guy we remember. And I feel bad for him, everybody, when he gets it figured out because he's still chasing that paycheck. So.
Yeah. Do you have any other stock ups you want to kind of touch on?
Yeah, I think the other stock up for me, and his stock is always up for me, and that's Foye Oluokun.
I was going to talk about Foye.
He is by far and away our most consistent player. He is outstanding in everything that we ask him to do. The one Brock Bowers touchdown, the long one that he kind of squirted through everybody, he's inches away from tipping that ball.
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff when it comes to Brock Bowers too is I think it was a lot of the zone. And I know Jerry, and we'll talk about Jerry actually in a minute too, but I think a lot of that wasn't necessarily on the guys that were closest to Brock when he caught the ball. I thought a lot of it came in zone or something like that. But Foye in the run game versus Genty, talk about that.
Oh my gosh, he was a force. He was a downhill player. He loves to play downhill. One of my favorite plays in the whole game is they had a run stunt on, and he was the fitter off the stunt. So the D-line's doing what they do, whether that's Xing or Tedding or whatever. And the next thing you know, Foye is the open gap player. And as soon as the gap opened, he was screaming through there to make the play.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Was that the one in the backfield?
Yes. Yeah, the tackle for loss.
Yeah, exactly.
He is an exceptionally smart man and one of our best football players.
Absolutely.
He's absolutely underrated, and he was definitely inches away from
big time
from winning the game for us a couple times.
Yeah,
there was a couple times
on that pick from against Brock Bowers too.
Yeah.
So he'll get one.
Yeah, I have a couple last ones that I forgot to touch on. We touched. There's a lot of people that I thought had good games. And I think BTJ's 3 catches. I think he looked more like the player he was last year.
Yeah,
and I think in effort wise was noticeable. I think you can tell effort wise on the after the catch,
catch and run.
Both of those one on the sidelines. He had a nice catch and run.
Yep.
And then obviously the big play later in the game. Thought that was huge for his confidence, for Trevor's confidence in him. So I would just like to see them feed him a little bit more.
So,
but I think he had a good game.
I think the one thing, if you go back and get to watch it again, I think they use BTJ to get other people open.
Yeah.
And that's fair.
Let's do that. That's fine. They're probably, I don't know if they were doing this, doubling them or whatever.
Well, they were probably doing some bracket stuff and allowing him to cross and having somebody for him. Mm-hmm. And one of the times that Parker was wide open, it's because they had run a scissors route together, and that cleared it open because they chased BTJ. So those kind of things. Those coaches get paid over there too, man. So that they got to figure out who they don't want to beat them, and they had made that up in their mind that BTJ was a guy that he's not going to win a game for him.
Yeah, I thought primarily we really, with BTJ and Parker, they play great. I thought the guys that coming in, Trammell, on that kick return, and then Tim Jones
had a big play
on the first down.
I thought
it was huge.
Long played his best game for us, and had a great catch that was nullified by a penalty.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, I thought he was done for the season after watching his leg and how it kind of got. But he came back in later, so that's a good sign.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's go stock downs. So who would you guys have for your first stock down, Schmitty? Who's your first stock down?
This is somebody that I love to hate and hate to love, but it's Dewey Wingard, man. I should say just the safety room in general this week,
Completely
because how many times did we see when Brock Bowers goes screaming across the field and we have a safety just a step behind him?
Or 2 steps.
Or 2 steps behind him.
Unfortunately, the whole NFL is going to be like that.
That's
for
fair.
Bowers.
That is fair.
But to your point, I think, and I'll let you talk on Dewey, but I think there's another guy in the safety room that had even a worse game this game, and definitely a bad season last year, which I thought was Antonio Johnson.
Yeah. He and Dewey together, they really have to be able to feed on each other and lift each other up. The way it seemed like Wingard and Murray were doing when Murray was healthy.
So
it shows you how
they were playing much better.
Loss these injuries are adding up.
Absolutely.
And one of those things you got to give the safety people credit. With Johnson and Wingard in the game, they're both in the box safeties. They're guys that should be down.
Yeah.
And if they're both in the game together due to injuries, that means somebody's got to play back.
Right.
That's fair.
Or we're going to play some type of roll coverage, man cover, to where someone's going to be back there and something bad's going to happen. And Wingard got put in a bad spot a couple times. So
and
I promise you those coaches are looking at it going, we got to be a little smarter.
Cohen did talk about how much they were changing up the defense, figuring out, okay, what's the best call here with our personnel? They were switching to man and different types of zone and everything.
Like they played the most man coverage they have played all season.
Probably. Because, and the personnel that they had in there thrive in man, I think. Jarian.
Yep.
Antonio is box better in man.
Yep.
Right? So
I couldn't agree more.
Unfortunately, with Antonio Johnson, I like the kid personally, and I liked him out of the draft.
He's athletic.
The issue is, and I said this to Schmitty before we started, I was like, Antonio Johnson's a great athlete. The only issue, he's not a good football player. Yeah. He can't cover and he can't tackle. He's constantly missing tackles. Even on, there's a clip going out too on the last play. Thank God for D Ham to get his hand up, because you had Tyler Lockett wide open in the back of the end zone because Antonio Johnson didn't know what he was doing.
Was out of place.
And I just don't think he's a good enough tackler to be a box safety, and I don't think he can cover well. I was hesitant when Murray was healthy for us to say, hey, we need to go out and get somebody in the secondary to help us out.
Right. When he was healthy.
When Murray was healthy, I said it was primarily the pass rush, which I think it still is, but I don't want Antonio Johnson in the game. That's just my that's how I feel. That's my opinion. I don't like the way he played last year, and he's played better this year, but it's not a starter level.
It's not full-time starter level
in the NFL.
No.
Well, I think one thing we can all agree with is that this functionality of this staff and our administration now, they're going to go get what they need, or they're going to go find someone, or they're going to sign somebody to put the pressure.
Hopefully,
that's what it feels like.
Hopefully,
on the guys that we do.
Deadline's coming up.
We have about 24 hours. So hopefully
this time tomorrow, maybe a little sooner.
We need like 4 trades right now.
I don't think we're going to get 4, but I think there's going to be 2, maybe somebody else will sign off the street to hopefully bolster some things up.
Maybe.
I have another stock down here that I want to get to. And it's kind of the reason I'm saying this now is because it kind of goes to what your point was with they're mixing up a lot of things in the secondary and on the defense in general. It's kind of the flip side of the Liam Cohen conversation on the offense. I think Coach Camp, this is my first, and I love Coach Camp.
Yeah.
But I think it's my first stock down for Coach Camp specifically. Now, does he have the players? No. He doesn't have enough players to make his defense work.
I don't want to go to a gunfight with a knife.
Yeah. That being said, I'll give him an asterisk for that. But that being said, the league's got tape on him, just like they had on Cohen, and Cohen came out with all these different formations, different personnel. You had LaQuinn Allen at fullback. You had Wildcat. So Liam Cohen mixed it up perfectly, and he had limited weapons. So doesn't Coach Camp. So if we got to say that for Liam, we got to say it for Coach Camp too. I think he could have coached a better game. Does that mean he's going to be able to get his guys to tackle? No. Does that mean he's going to get enough pass rush? No. But I thought he'd be a little bit more creative, because the issue that we're running into is because we can not rush with 4 pass rushers.
Correct.
We have to blitz.
Yeah.
And when we blitz, we're not getting home. Dewey's coming in. Foye, I think, had one that he was like, Gino had to dump it in the dirt. But
Gardeck gets some pressure.
I would like to see Gardeck play more. I don't know why he's not starting over Smoot and then Agba.
Well, Gardeck is at linebacker. They can send him.
But I think you gotta put him play more at edge on these like obvious passing downs, because the other guys aren't doing it.
I think that's the Devin Lloyd factor. Unfortunately, with him being out, Devin Lloyd is that fit player that does a little bit of all of that. And so once Devin comes back, which I believe he'll play this week, I think that'll even some things out, and it'll help with some stuff. It'll add back to the, remember we talked about this last week, a stunt, a pressure, and a blitz are all different things.
Right.
And a stunt is something you do with 4, a pressure is something you do with 5, and a blitz is something you do with 6. So these pieces, those pieces, they're going to help get this Jaguar defense back and being a little more effective. And, you can think about the earlier games where we were kind of getting the turnovers and those kind of things. We're still giving up yards. And so, this is the NFL. It's very rare that you're going to just yardage somebody out and shut them out and those kind of things. So, Brock Bowers is a full-grown man, all-pro, all those kind of things. I feel like
Best in the league.
We made Gino look a little better than he actually is. But if we go into full strength, I'm with you. We probably should have walked the dog on him.
We don't have a pass rush, and our secondary is susceptible. So it's like
those two things are not good together.
It's not a good combination for especially yards in the NFL. I touched on a little bit. Does anybody else have a down?
Unfortunately, Trayvon Walker's my down.
Okay.
He's had some stupid penalties in his career.
That was a surprising one, because
we hadn't heard from him.
I didn't know what was going on
a little bit. But I also think I think Trayvon's smarter than that.
Character's
He
fine.
is.
He lets
I don't understand why that happened. I would like to see. Did anybody ask him?
Yeah. They asked. He stayed in the locker room, and Martineau and those guys got to him.
Yeah.
And he owned it. He said it was stupid. He shouldn't have done it. That's all you can ask. I think the biggest thing is understanding how valuable he is to the pass rush, and that we have seen it for the last 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Our pass rush was better with him in the game against the Raiders, and then all of a sudden
he's out, and then it's back to normal.
And it was nothing.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen, to his credit, he stepped it up, got a sack there, was a little more forceful around the ball, made Gino run around and have to do some stuff. But if Trayvon's in the game, I think there's 2 or 3 sacks instead of just 1.
Yeah, I was stocked down on Josh Allen. He saved himself by getting those late game sacks.
What, a sack and a half?
Yeah, or sack and a half.
All time, he tied the record.
Tied
Brackens.
So we had an NFL record and a team record in the same game.
Yeah, so it's hard to give him stock down this week because of that. But I thought throughout most of that second half, he was really nowhere to be found until the very end.
Yeah.
Other stock downs, I mentioned them a minute ago. So Smoot, it's kind of a combination for me. So it's Smoot, Agba, and that whole other defensive tackle room opposite of Eric Armstead. What are we going to do? I don't know. That's why I said Gardeck's got to play more, I think, on obvious passing downs on the edge. I'd rather see him than Smoot or Agba at this time. Defensive tackle, I think, is the most glaring issue. Trade scenario going into the deadline, like you need to get something.
There's 2 gentlemen on my Christmas list, and one of them's playing right now for the Cardinals.
Yeah,
and the other one is that large human in New York that plays in the green team.
Yep.
Mr. Williams would be a phenomenal addition to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The only issue with both of those players, actually, there's no issue because they'd be way better than whatever we have behind them.
And we both know,
and as long as you don't give up D-Ham, which doesn't do really anything in the pass.
Yeah.
In the pass game,
but he's stellar in the run game.
In the run game, he's been very good this year.
I think adding Calais Campbell to the defensive group that we have and not having to give up a player,
that'd be huge.
It makes Mason Smith better. It makes Eric Armstead better.
I'm kind of out on Mason Smith personally.
It makes Josh Allen the best he can be.
Yep.
Because if you remember when those guys were together during his rookie year, he had 10 sacks as a rookie.
Yeah,
and
that's his sensei.
That's because that's his guy. That's
the master in the Padawan right there.
So, adding him to the mix giving Trayvon Walker someone else to look up to mimic, to learn from. Man, I just like our chances. Quinn Williams, on the other hand, is he is an impact player, and I think that he allows our defense to do a couple different things. Whereas Calais might be maybe a sentimental pick. Williams is an absolute game changer for us on defense.
Interior havoc would be the Williams,
which we haven't had, in my opinion, since Darius and
since Saxonville.
Yeah,
Malik Jackson.
Yes, Malik Jackson, the big man who was a part of the Nasty Boys.
So I think both are good options in the at the trade deadline. I think obviously Quinn Williams would be a great long-term kind of solution.
Yes.
Maybe we're thinking 3 to 5 years. Calais would be probably this season.
Yeah.
Give up a late round pick if Arizona's willing to part with him. I have no problem with that.
All right. How good would you sleep if we got both of them?
Yeah, I'd sleep very well.
And we can afford them. We have 13 picks in the next draft. 13 picks. We got 3 third rounders, and I think I should have this written down. 3 7th rounders, 2 6th rounders. It's a lot.
It's a lot. So you got plenty of capital to get whoever you really want at this point. The first round pick that you lost with Travis Hunter, it's a bummer. But it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things or what we're talking about this year.
Especially if you're picking 20th to 28th, who cares?
And it also showed you too, giving up that first round pick, they're in win now mode. Even though they're not playing that great, they're playing like a middle of the pack team. The mindset of the organization is still, we got to win now.
And I think that we're going to find that out in the next 24 hours.
Yeah, the next 24 hours is huge.
Where do they believe they are? Because what we think honestly doesn't really mean two spits.
Absolutely.
Do you think? Let's go over under. How many moves do you think they make tomorrow? Over 2 or over 1.5?
Yeah, I'll take the over on that. I think we're going to do 2. I think we're going to get an offense player and a defense player.
Yeah, I'm there with you. If I was in the driver's seat, if I was Jimmy Big Stone's right-hand man, I'd be trying to make a move on both sides of the ball. 2 moves would be ideal. I think we have to. I feel very confident we're going to at least make 1.
Yeah.
If we're lucky, we'll see 2.
I agree. I think it's over 2. It could be even 3 or 4. I think
you could trade 4 of your 13 picks away, bring in 2, maybe 3 solid players, and still have 9 draft picks next year. When you usually only get 7, right? On an average draft, you get 1 per round, 7 rounds.
Yep.
We have 13, man. Let's wheel and deal. It's okay to overpay a little bit if we can go for a deep run. If this is a Super Bowl push,
I think that it's going to come down to who's truly available.
Yes,
right. And we've all read the dirt sheets and all that, and I believe that some teams are about to make a decision here in the next 12, 14 hours.
They're trying to get the
most. Are we in? Or are we out? Are we already ready to start worrying about next year?
Yeah.
Right.
And, the team for me right now, if you just watch them and watch their temperament, they've already fired their GM. Miami Dolphins are out. And so
they already made a trade today.
They've made 2 or 3
trades. Are you thinking Waddle or Chubb?
I would love Chubb. Waddle. I believe that he could settle this thing down in a way that we haven't had in a long time.
And he could pair with BT and Travis next year.
And man, could you imagine going to work every day with those 3 receivers?
Yeah.
You know the issue?
And a healthy Brenton Strange?
Yeah. You know the issue with Waddle, unfortunately?
His favorite dance is the penguin?
No. He's a little bit smaller, and I think Trevor needs like a basketball team around him to be fully successful.
I think it would help.
I don't think the accuracy is like Tua. I know a lot of people give Tua shit, but like he's pretty accurate for what he is.
It's a very timing-based offense.
Yeah. So I think you got to be accurate if you're going to get these smaller slot kind of guys. And would I love Waddle? Yes. Is he expensive? A, to get him, and then B, just the money on the books. Like
that's what I was going to say.
$37 million in a couple of years for Waddle. That's a lot of money for. Do you think he's worth that?
And so, I think when you get to a big time payday like that for one season, Shad Khan and this staff have showed you already that they will finagle the books. They will move things to bonuses. Shad will stroke a check if he has to.
That's fair, yeah. Void years and things like that, yeah.
And so if they get Waddle, the money will not be an issue. They will do something to renegotiate, to fix, to give him a bonus, to hook him up to where we're going to keep our cap under control so we can add and build. And as they say, keep our floor moving up.
Elevate our ecosystem.
We had a lot of intangibly rich wide receivers out there. We had we had Austin Trammell, Tim Jones, Parker Washington, and Johnny Mundt as
teammates.
our main targets yesterday.
So you'd like to see Waddle then? That makes you feel a little better?
I like Waddle. I think I would err on the side of a younger wide receiver. Like I've seen like AJ Brown and stuff get floated. I don't necessarily, even though I'm a big AJ Brown fan, I just don't see the fit.
He's the big guy. He's the big guy you're looking for.
I think he's got a lot of tread on the tires though. Where I don't think after maybe, I think he might fall off a cliff after next year.
It could happen.
So like kind of like with Debo Samuel. So Debo Samuel. But
I know who you're talking about.
I was thinking Metcalf. But anyways, so what else was I going to say?
Let's keep talking trades. Who else are we looking at out here?
There's a few needs, though. So
absolutely.
I didn't think wide receiver was a need until Travis got hurt.
Yes,
hurt.
Ziami Brown got a concussion as well.
And BT.
So is he only going to miss one game? Is he going to miss a game? We don't know.
I think you need a guy anyways, though.
But I think Wednesday is the telltale day. He's got to pass a test on Wednesday to be cleared to practice for Thursday and Friday.
Yeah. I would like to see Jacoby Myers though. I liked him all the way in New England. I liked him in Las Vegas with the Raiders. He's a steady Eddie. Yes. Like he's kind of what you need as a possession receiver. You have the boom and bust of BTJ or.
I'm there with you. I think he's our most realistic option at receiver because he's not going to be super expensive. He's not the big flashy name. He's got some height to him. He's got solid hands.
And he's been unhappy in Vegas for, it seems like, the entire time.
He has straight up said in 2 different interviews he wants to be traded. They said, do you still want to be traded? He said, oh, absolutely. I'm cracking up at that. I'm like, how often do you see that happen? And they're there for more than one more week.
They threw him the ball 13 times or something.
I heard a report, too, that he was talking to Baselli and Cohen and stuff for an extended period of time after the game. And he was like roommates or played football and college with
Baselli's son.
Well, that's who it was. So I think it's an option. And by the way, another expatriate too, Adam Butler, who played really good against us. I don't know if anybody knows, number 69. He's more of a pass rush specialist.
D lineman, yes.
He doesn't really fit the scheme, but in obvious passing downs, he's pretty good for what he is. So I think if you're making a trade and getting both guys, like as a smaller level moves, I think those would be really solid move to make.
I think that would be very interesting. You saw them already do that once this year. You know, they traded Carolina, the moments after we played them, or the Saints, I'm sorry. In the preseason, we traded
for Saunders.
The defensive tackle who's barely played since we traded for him.
By the way, what's going on with that? By the way, we had LaQuint Allen at fullback. I want to see Kalen Saunders.
You want to see the big guy?
I don't even want to see him on defense anymore. I want to see him on offense.
Put him in motion.
That's where he was like. I think you might see him in the next couple
weeks. Him and the Wild Jag would be fun.
Oh, would be awesome.
That would feed families, as they say.
I would love it. But yeah, so other trade needs. Defensive tackle, I think we touched on a little bit. Wide receiver, tight end. I'm a big tight end guy, but I don't know if they would go with Hawkinson, but that would be my fantasy.
Is he available? Is he available?
Unfortunately, the Vikings just won.
Yeah, I doubt the Vikings are looking to ship anybody.
I think if they lost, they would have sent him. I think because of his contract too, they would think about it. And let him go for a pick and Jarian or something like that. I think they probably end up keeping him.
Unfortunately, I don't think we can trade anybody from our secondary right now.
Jarian was on my stock down, not really too fault of his own because
I don't think we can afford to trade Jarian at this point, though. With all of the injuries we have in the secondary, we need somebody.
Jarian at safety, you know what I mean? Something mix something up.
Well, he's a man cover guy. He thrives in man because he's short, he's twitchy, he's agile.
Yeah.
He's had his ups and downs for sure. Last season when they were playing man nonstop, he had some good moments.
Last year. So, I said this last week about BTJ. I'm going to throw this out there for him too on Jerry. The sophomore slump is real, guys. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
So, I think right now the best part about it is we're talking about all these things and we're 5-3.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they found a way to win. It wasn't the prettiest thing we've ever seen, though. But they found a way. Give the flowers to Trevor Lawrence down the stretch. 5 drives in a row to get points. The O-line was outstanding.
How about the offensive line bouncing back a little bit? I think the run game was huge in this game.
I think it settled everybody down.
We all talked about it being the biggest thing they need to get back to. And I looked at the time of possession too because I was like, damn,
Yeah.
I felt like we had the ball forever.
Early
we put
on,
out
it
some
was
long
ridiculous.
drives,
Yeah.
especially in the second half.
It was like 17-3 at one point.
Yeah, so I think it was I think I wrote it down. I think it was
49 to 27.
43 minutes to
43.
20 to 26 minutes.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's almost double the time of possession.
I
Which
love that.
is beautiful, and it makes the defense stay off the field.
Yeah.
Drives stay longer. You saw these very long drives for the Jags
And conversions.
And
Confidence.
and conversions. Yeah,
Hey,
When,
I'm
you
gonna
convert and you can have confidence, it just changes the whole approach.
yeah.
I'm going to take that point you just made, and here's why that's important, because that's how you beat a team that relies on their running back, right? That's how you beat a run-heavy team. If they run out of time and they can't eat up the clock,
They got to throw it.
they got to throw it. And if they don't have a quarterback who can wheel and deal and drop dimes everywhere, so who does that remind us of in our division?
Yeah, we're the spitting image of the Colts at that point.
Right. If we can do what we just did against the Raiders, maintain possession as long as we can, slow down the run. Ashton Jinty is a very good running back. He's a rookie, and he doesn't have the greatest O-line in the world. But if we can slow down the Colts run game, slow down Jonathan Taylor, hold on to the ball as long as we can absolutely beat the Colts. And I know I'm getting a little bit off topic, but it was a great point that you guys made, and I think that it's very applicable to our number one rival, the number one team that we have to beat for the rest of the season is the Colts, who we still have to play twice.
Yeah, we got lucky. So the Colts, Texans, and, well, not the Titans really matter, but they all lost, and
Titans
we won.
twice.
So,
Colts twice. Texans once.
Yep.
yeah.
We still got
So it's
almost
all, right
all
there
of our
in front of
division
us.
games.
That's 10 wins, boys, right there.
Yeah, 5-3. This was a must-win game, as we all talked about. 5-3 feels great.
Sure does.
Gives us a lot of breathing room versus 4-4. You felt like the season was over if they lost that game.
Yeah.
Well, Fox did the proverbial Vegas love there with the slot machine that we went from like 62%
Yeah, I saw that too.
down to 31% or whatever.
If we had lost, yeah.
How do we feel about Trevor? So he gave away that. You see, he had a really rough start. He was shaky. He was off target on a lot of these throws again. They drove all the way down the field. I think it was like 14 minutes or something, or not 14 minutes, but it was an extended period.
It was something wild.
Yeah, and
I think it was 14 plays.
I don't understand the decision. I don't know why he panicked. He had a guy in his face, but fall on the ball, throw it away, whatever.
Yeah.
You can't do that in the red zone. He's done that
his whole career.
career.
Right. And so if you really would have to make the assessment is that the red zone player has to become better for Trevor.
Yes.
The other piece of it is.
Do you think that's something fixable, though? I
Yes,
think
100%.
the football IQ, I've said this before, he makes dumb plays, but he's a smart kid.
All right, so they ran shovel pass down there. That's what it was intended to be. It should have been the shovel TN. He didn't like it.
Throw it in the dirt at that point.
Yes.
He doesn't have to be
Throw it
worried.
in the
He's
front
trying to make
row.
a play.
Throw it somewhere. I feel like that they were all over the bag in that offensive sequence. And sometimes when you get down inside the 10 or the lower red, whatever you want to call it, you got to have your favorites. And I've been talking about this for 3 weeks. What's our favorite play? What's our favorite play? What's Trevor's favorite play? Down on the goal line, we were committed to running the ball. We got in the wild jag. We did all of these things to run the football down there. And he had 2 rushing touchdowns. It's very easy to see we're committed to running the ball. The way that you stop turning the ball over down there is you start running. You always run it down there if you can.
I thought Trevor should have 3 touchdowns because I thought they should have sneaked that the play they threw the ball. I thought he should have tried to sneak it twice again, like what they did late in the game.
The other piece for that is don't give him any options down there. Get it down to a solo route. Get it to where it's play action and he's rolling out and he has one read. Like on the first touchdown
of the year. Yep.
So like stop making it hard. Don't put all your eggs into being cute down on the goal line.
Yeah.
And Doug was notorious for this, and I hated when we were in the goal line.
God.
We did so much dumb stuff on the goal line.
I blamed that call 50% on, or that play 50% on Liam when I saw it too. I said, why are we? First of all, he's rolling out the opposite way.
Right.
I know the initial play was a
set
shovel
up for his right,
but
Schler thought he still should have thrown it, which was funny to hear.
I'd like to see it again from the back shot. I'd feel a lot better.
Yeah. Anyways, thought Trevor really after that
He was great.
Turned it on.
I thought he really turned it on and
Turned
played
it on.
Mistake free.
not above his head, but just inside the system. Inside the offense that Liam asked him to do. He was a game manager, but he made throws. He made some.
He made some killer throws.
He had some really nice throws down the stretch. Thought that Tim Jones. Like the biggest thing for me is I've always said you can keep Trevor between quarters 1 and 3, like not playing, like turning the ball over, making stupid decisions.
He's going to give you a chance in the fourth.
He'll give you a chance. He's a closer. He'll always close games for you. And that's like, I'd rather that than the opposite. The guy that can fill up the stat sheet for the first 3 quarters and then shits his pants every time he gets in the fourth.
I just, sometimes I just like to hear that I'm right. John Elway, you guys remember that guy?
Yeah, closer.
That's what he was known for, right?
That's what he was.
That's
known
where he
for.
made his money, right?
Right.
Because in the first quarter, he had 3 interceptions, or he'd miss his receiver by a mile,
and then he'd take you on the drive,
and then he would go win the game.
Yeah.
I've been beating my chest since the moment we drafted this guy that he's somewhere between Peyton Manning and John Elway. Where's he going to end up? Is he going to be closer to John Elway than we really wanted to be? Because you look at John Elway's stats. My man John Elway has 1 season of 90-plus quarterback rating, and that was his final season.
Wow.
When he had Hall of Fame
crazy.
weapons.
With Terrell Davis.
I was going to say, the other thing with Elway, too, at the end.
Yeah.
Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
They play better with that.
If we can get some gold jackets at receiver.
Peyton Manning played with 3 Hall of Famers almost the entire time he was in.
Yeah.
Indianapolis.
Makes a difference.
Again, I'm not saying Trevor doesn't have room to improve. I'm not saying Trevor can't do things better. What I am saying is the pieces around Trevor are not what they need to be at this present moment for us to have expectations of him to be perfect. It's not going to happen. He's a competitor at heart. You've seen it against the Chiefs. You've seen it against Baltimore, Dallas, those years, a couple years ago. The dude is a winner. He's won everywhere he's been. At one point, he had lost 2 games in his entire life.
Yep.
So coming to the Jags and losing 13, I'm sure that messed with him in a way that none of us can understand.
And he puts it on himself. And you can tell a lot of these mistakes will happen when he's trying to make something happen that isn't there.
Yep, 100%.
And he's got to learn to just be okay with, it's not there.
Play another day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to catch on. I really think this offense, and
the clarity is coming.
I was encouraged this week. I thought they still had some of those penalties, and Trevor was coming up the line, and I don't understand why Haynes snapped it.
I would love to know what that.
Yeah, what was going on with that?
I saw Hainsey look at he's looking through his legs at Trevor, and Trevor's saying easy, like changing the play. He's walking up, and then Hainsey just goes bang. I'm like. What was that? I think it was on Hainsey more.
Weird miscommunication to have in week.
Liam said in one of his interviews, I can't remember which one it was, that he felt like Trevor had his best game at getting in and out of plays.
Yeah.
So let that sink in for what it's worth. And
it's a great.
It's only going to get easier for Trevor in that regard. Now, pulling the trigger, getting it where it's supposed to be, checking it down, throwing it deep, all those kind of things. All the things we want to see from our guy. Again, patience is hard. I get it. You want him to go for 350 yards every time he walks out there.
At this point, I'm cool with
being a winner,
leaning into the run game and
being
winning
a winner. Games. Throwing it 25 times and completing 17 of them for 260.
I'm cool with that.
I love it.
And I think we have that's kind of like what we have right now. And then eventually we'll progress and we're going to pop off some big plays down the stretch. I think we need to. I liked having us, even though it was mostly by necessity, having that extra lineman in, that 6th lineman in. I think they need to make that a staple.
I love that.
I think that's something that if you can use it to your advantage and it causes the front to be what you want it to be to run the football,
right?
Then we're going to do it all the time.
You can max protect
do it a couple times every game.
And that's the thing is,
take shots.
If you're willing to take the shot and be in that protection position, you can do it. And I think once the running game becomes consistent, and that's what we're missing right now. We've had 3 games where we ran the utter dog shit out of it. Yeah. And then we've had 3 games where we couldn't get a first down if our life depended on it.
Yeah. And I think, too, if once the run game is hot and we're bringing in the jumbo packages and we're using our blocking tight block and all the defense is thinking is, okay, we got to stop their run. There's going to be 0 pressure on Brian Thomas Jr.'s shoulders.
Yeah.
And then on some random 3rd and short, he's going to get open as hell.
Well, that's
sort of touchdown.
And we're going to drop a bomb.
The coverage piece is going to be in his favor. And you can't cover that guy forever.
Exactly.
What's your confidence level on this team on a scale of 1 to 10? And when I say confidence, I mean, I should probably clarify that. So confidence-wise, how confident are you that they're going to reach like their potential this season? Like, do you think? I'm trying to phrase this.
10 being the highest,
10 being
the
Super
lowest.
Bowl winners, 1 being.
I'm trying to phrase this in a good way because I'm confident in the team, but it's really, are you confident in them not beating themselves?
Right.
Are you confident in the chemistry between Trevor and the wide receivers clicking? And are you confident that they can fix this defense?
Right.
Where they can fix the pass
I'm
rush?
definitely confident in that. I think it just takes time. Like, you guys remember, we won 4 games last year.
Yeah, we've already won 5 now.
It wasn't like they were handed this freaking great group of guys and this awesome team and that's had all this winning and success. They got a broken locker room. They had a whole new – every coach except, 2 was replaced. The only guy we kept was a special teams guy and one of his assistant, right?
I wasn't even sure it was that.
I knew we kept the special teams coordinator.
Okay, so, you go wholesale change the way that we did. It takes a little bit of time. And, we come out of the gates and we played really well the first 5 games. We hit a little lull. Now we through the bye week and we found a way to win a football game with maybe not our best weapons. Now we're going to go play the team that we need to beat the most. Division rival, division champ from last year, got a chance to probably, maybe, in their season, go ahead and put them as sellers, and put them down and out, and make them worry about what's next. And we could go run the football, play action pass, and find a way on defense to force another turnover or 2.
Yep.
And we want to win a football game.
Yeah, I think with Stroud out, the Texans games, what you said a second ago, like putting him out of their misery, like early, you don't want this Houston Texans team to be hanging around towards the end of the season when you're trying to get into the playoffs yourselves.
Yeah.
Colts at this point, it's not officially locked up, but they only got to win like 3 or 4 more games to really not only make the playoffs, but just win the division probably. Yeah. I still see us close to 9-8. Maybe 10 wins if we're getting on kind of a heater at the end. So you don't want the Texans in there.
No.
So this is another, we're going to have the fun part about this, the second half of the season is we're not bad enough to not be in these games. We're not good enough to really put these guys away, 100% of the way. You're not really sure going in. It's a week-to-week league and it's a week-to-week team right now. So this Texans game, even though CJ Stroud's out, you got to handle business kind of a little bit better, I think, than you played against the Raiders. I think you have to play a little bit better.
Absolutely.
I'm a hard 7.
Me too. That's where I'm at.
I think that this team has shown us, and Liam Cohen did that, in his speech in the bye week. He showed them their plus plays. He showed them making plays, doing great things, making
incredible
checks,
plays,
throwing the ball great, running the ball great, playing great defense, 99-yard touchdown. It's there.
Kick returns.
Let's get healthy.
Yeah.
Let's get all the bullets in the chamber and see what happens.
Well, this is why I also think it's important for Gladstone to make moves, though.
Yeah.
I don't think we have all the pieces, all the horses to give me the full confidence.
Sit back and do nothing.
To sit back and do nothing. You know what I mean? That's where
if we're fully healthy, maybe, but not quite.
And fully healthy
any of these,
Travis Hunter comes back too.
Right. But here's the thing: Travis Hunter is out for at least 3 more games. Strange is out for at least 1 more game. Yeah. Right.
Strange will be.
I think Strange is eligible to come back.
So
this week.
I've heard. I think he's closer to Chargers than this week, and then I also think Lloyd is closer to this week than the next.
I firmly believe Lloyd's going to play because he was on there. He was questionable this week.
Yeah,
and I think if it was a playoff game, Lloyd's going to play.
Yeah,
I hope he does. But again, us fully healthy is a big if. Ooh. It's a big if.
But I also think Travis Hunter. They said 4 weeks at least.
Right.
I think he's closer to 8 to 12 games. I don't think.
Who knows?
Unless we're in the playoffs, I don't think he's coming back.
I think that's the that is the true evaluation of what it is, what it isn't. They haven't really told us what it is.
We have to treat
some kind of ACL
injury though, as he's not going to be there.
Correct. I agree with that.
Yes,
that's
my point. Exactly.
And that
that's why I'm saying it's a big.
Then you have to start thinking about what was the plan for him moving forward. So now, let's say we go ahead and trade for a wideout. That means he's probably going to go back and play defense. There's no reason to play both ways if he's coming off.
I disagree. I think he'll play. I don't think him getting hurt changes the.
We still got to get him in on both sides of the ball.
Mentality or their game plan for Travis Hunter. I think if it's all the same, it's not because of fatigue that he got hurt. It's a freak injury where it's a non-contact thing. I don't think that's in my opinion, I don't think they changed that at all. I think he's still, even if you get a wide receiver, I think that's why I'm saying, like, I don't know about Waddle or like spending big money on this other guy, where I think Jacoby Myers being a 3 or 4, like a high end 3 or 4, is a better route than going and getting overextending for Waddle or overextending for AJ Brown.
Right.
And then you get Travis back. Yes, it would be a great trio, but I think you can kind of save some of your capital and go get a smaller end moves on a wide receiver, and then go get an extra tight end or spend the extra on defense where they really need it.
I think that's going to be the best part. We get to see what happens next. For the first time, I think we have competent people.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember the last time I wanted to cheer on our GM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go into the Texans, though. So let's wrap it up with this one. So what are we thinking about Texans game? We touched on it briefly. Let me get a prediction of how the game goes. I want an offensive player of the game, defense player of the game, and a score. Let's go, Schmitty.
I think I like the Jags 24-17. I think I like ETN as the game ball. I think he runs. I don't want to say he runs all over them, but I think he has the big runs that we need him to have. I think he will. I know that the Texans have a very solid defense. They've got a solid secondary and a solid pass rush.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. We need to run the ball when we can. Find the open man when we can. We don't have to throw the ball 30, 35 times. We can run the ball on them. Doesn't matter if we're getting 2.5, 3 yards at first.
Yeah.
Get your first downs. Hold on to the ball. Don't turn the ball over. ETN will lead you to the promised land.
We did think we were going to run on them the last time, and that didn't happen. They shut it down pretty easily. Because that's what I thought. That was my initial thought going into the first game was, hey, we should be able to run the ball on these guys.
We should.
We really didn't. I would like that to be the case. But yeah, what was the final score you had?
24-17 Jaguars.
They are playing against Davis Mills. Now, we don't really play the best against backup quarterbacks.
Right.
But yeah, I think player of the game, I would, offensive player of the game, I'd probably go. I think Trevor actually has a better game than you think in Houston.
I hope so.
I think defensive player of the game, I like to say maybe Trayvon have a breakout game for this season. And final score, I'm going to go 23-21 Texans.
Mm.
I don't see us winning that
all those
game.
good things
I think
and
we
then a
lose on like a
loss.
field goal at the end.
Well, I will say this: when you play people twice, the opportunity to win the second game
goes down dramatically.
100%.
Yeah.
We have not traditionally played horrible in Texas, but that being said, it is hard to beat a team twice in the season. It is hard to beat a good coached team, and they are a well-coached team, but they are missing their best player on offense. They have been going through injuries all season.
Yep.
I don't see them having a defensive stalwart effort to just beat us. I believe that we will run the ball enough. Trevor will complete the play-action pass. He will have his best game of the season statistically, and we will do enough on defense. And I believe Cam Little is going to be the player of the game, as he's going to go
kick a bunch.
4 for 4
I love that.
field goals, and then 3 for 3 on extra points, and we are going to find a way to beat them 34-20.
That'd be nice. That would be nice.
Going over 30 points for the third time in the season. I hope so. I would love to see it.
I like our chances.
It might be another low-scoring game too. It might be another rock
It
fight.
might be.
So
Could be.
it'll be fun to see, though. I think this is another great opportunity for them to go out and kind of prove themselves. They can knock off the division rival right now going into the rest of the season, the back half of the season. One less team to worry about. It's fine. Playoff picture.
It will be a huge win. We can pull it off. It will be a huge win.
And I think this team is mentally
for it.
tough. I think this team is mentally tough. I think the front office and the coaches are going to get them ready.
Yes.
I don't know if they have the horses at certain positions. I think Stroud being out is obviously a benefit for us.
Huge swing in our favor. If he's for sure out.
But they didn't really look that much different. I didn't think when Davis Mills was in as well, against Denver, who has a really tough defense. So
Yeah.
Right.
we just got to be able to get to the quarterback period.
Yes.
And we've been talking about this being the weakness of our team. Trayvon and Josh Hines Allen have to come up in this game and really show out, because if they don't get home against Davis Mills and the struggling Texans offensive line, then if you hadn't already made a move, then shame on you, James Gladstone, because I think there's 2 moves on that defensive line that need to be made before
interior and edge rush.
Yep. All right, awesome, guys. But I appreciate everybody jumping on. This is the Prowler Hour. We're here every Monday in Jags Beach. Come check us out. We are going to be live. By the way, I forgot to ask you guys. Do you guys? We can keep it on the live, I guess. Do you guys want to go on kind of collab on the Jungle Beat podcast for our live pregame show? Since it's another away game on Sunday. Do you think that would work for anybody here?
Possibly.
I think that'll work.
Because I wanted to get us all kind of together. So I think us 4 would be fun. So think about it. But anyways, like and subscribe, share it. But peace out. Appreciate y'all.
Go Jags.
Duval.